If you've clicked on this video, it's likely that you've been struggling with discipline. And for most of my life, I struggled with it too. Discipline is a term that many of us are afraid of. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down discipline and go through every single element you need to feel more empowered, educated, and hopefully by the end of this video, feel more disciplined. So hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're an OG, thank you so much for always supporting me to make these videos for you every single week. Really quickly, if you could press the like and subscribe button, because this is a new channel, this would mean the world to me. So I'm going to be breaking down the different elements of discipline, and I want to start this video by saying that discipline is the best form of self-love. Now, if you've watched my podcast, you'll know that I've spoken around this concept before, and I've referred back to that incredible Will Smith video where he talks about discipline being a form of self-love. Now, let me break down for you why this is actually true. When people talk around self-love, let's just break down that word. It means to love yourself. And if you are disciplined to do something, it really just means you're giving yourself that love. Now, I'm going to take this example about a relationship. If you love your partner, and let's obviously say you're not in an open relationship, but if you love your partner, you're going to make sure that you respect them. You're going to make sure that you share love with them. And one of the fundamentals that are in a lot of relationships is to not be with other people, not to cheat. So let's say that if you love your partner and you've decided that you're going to be in a monogamous relationship, because you love them so much, you're not going to cheat. Even if you get tempted, even if there's the most good looking girl or boy in the whole world, you love your partner and therefore you will not cross that boundary. Now, the same can be applied with your own life. Everything comes down to love for yourself. So if you set a goal for yourself, honor yourself and know that you love yourself so much, you're not going to allow yourself to slip. So last year, I really did not take care of my health. And what that meant for me was I was weak, I was exhausted, and I was really unable to enjoy any moments. For example, when I went to this gym class by Kiara in London, I physically could not move because I was not looking after my body. So this year, I made a promise to myself that I love myself too much to not allow myself to enjoy experiences. And therefore, no matter what, I have to go to the gym 3 times a week. And because I love myself so much, I have to make sure that I do this for me. Not for my Instagram, not for my friends, not for my family who are worried about me, but for myself. Because only I know my body. Everyone else told me if you work out, you're going to lose more weight. The only reason I've put on weight is because I've been going to the gym. And the only reason I'm strong and able to work long hours is because I've been going to the gym and I've been able to push my body. So it's really important to understand yourself and understand what it means to you to love yourself. And that is a really small example of how I know that if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to feel weak. And if I don't go to the gym, then I know that I'm not going to be at my optimal performance. And so for me, it's really, really, really important that I give myself that love. And when I go into a gym class, when I go step foot into the gym, whatever it might be, whatever time I've allocated to myself, whether that's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes, for that time, I have to stay focused. For that time, I need to make sure that I'm doing it just for myself. And then I feel so much more empowered and so much better because I know that it's just a form of self-love. And here's where I really think it's important to link it to my second point, where it's imagine your dream life and imagine who you want to be. A lot of the time when we're stuck in a rut, a lot of the time when we're confused about where we want to be, the best exercise I found to do is to think about the future. Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? What does my dream life look like? And a couple of questions you can ask yourself here are, who do you want to be surrounded by? Who are your friends? How are you spending your time? Where are you going? Where are you spending your holidays? How are you spending your free time? What does your ideal week look like? Now, these questions can be a really great starting point at understanding who you want to be. It can be a really great way to fish out all the things that other people have wanted you to be. So if other people have said, oh, you should be doing this, when you're figuring out your dream life and you're figuring out what you want and you do this exercise in solitude, what you're doing is blocking out that outside noise. You're not allowing other people to put their expectations on you. So for me, one of the best exercises that I've been doing recently is drawing out my ideal week. once I've done that exercise of who I want to be, where I want to go, what I want to look like, the house I want to live in, the areas I want to be hanging out in, the people I want to be surrounded by, I then go back to now saying, okay, so in a week, what do I want to be doing? Now, this is a fundamental exercise at understanding where you want to go and therefore disciplining yourself to make sure you achieve those things. So for me, I have different areas of my life that I have to focus on to get to my future goal. So I have this podcast, I have my planner, I have my corporate workshops, I have my normal workshops, and I have a community. These are all the key things that I need to do to get to where I want to be in the future. Now, under the podcast umbrella, there's several different things: managing Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, also doing the outreach for the guests and making sure I get the correct guests that align to my future vision. In terms of the planner, my purpose is to make things easier for people so people avoid burnout, they're more productive, and they feel happier doing the things that they want to do. And then the third is the corporate workshop, which is me spreading my messages around performance, productivity, culture, people, environment, all of those different things within the workplace, but also within around mental health. And then I have my workshops where I predominantly focus around goal setting, imposter syndrome, dealing with rejection, having difficult conversations. So there's different elements of my life that all align to one vision. But in order for me to structure my week and to be disciplined enough to achieve all of those things, the number one thing that I do is identify in my week how much time I'm spending on each of those areas. Which is the most important, which is the one that gives me happiness, which is the one that has the most admin that I don't really want to do. It's this podcast, by the way, admin-wise. Just want to emphasize that again. It's the admin that kills me. But it's more around understanding where you want to go so that you can focus on what you want to do. Now, the reason I'm saying this is if you're watching this at home right now thinking, I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to do, and I'm feeling really lost and I'm unmotivated and I don't want to do my work. The number one exercise you need to do is think about, what do you want? Figure out your big picture goal, break that down, and figure out then in a week, what are you doing to achieve that? So I'm going to give you an example. If you're sitting there at home thinking, I want to make 10K a month from my business, right? Because I need 120K a year to survive in terms of supporting my family, getting a nanny, paying for my kids to go to nursery, whatever it is. Or I want to spend 120K on living in a lovely flat. I want to have a luxurious lifestyle. Whatever is your lifestyle and what you want, you need to identify that. So I'm just going to give this example of 10K a month. If you want to do that, then you need to identify in your week what you are doing to achieve that £10,000 a month, right? So break it down. That's £2,500 a week. Roughly, what are you doing every single week to make sure you're achieving £2,500? If you write down your ideal week, or you write down your week right now and it's not aligning, you are not going to be disciplined. You are just not going to be disciplined. If you write down exactly what you need to do to get to your goal, then you are going to want to do that thing every single day because you know it's going to get you to your goal. Now, this is where you're probably watching this and thinking, well, how do I know it's going to get me to my goal? And the thing is, you don't. You absolutely don't know 100% if you do an action, it's going to lead to this. But you have to try, right? And this is where you really need to make discipline as part of your identity. Now, if you watch my video about how I grew my social media and how I grew all of my accounts, including my podcast, you'll know that I talk around the book Atomic Habits a lot. And in this, James Clear says that in order to change a habit, and here we're talking around being more disciplined, you need to make it part of your identity. If you say to yourself, well, I'm not worthy of making 10K a month, I'm never going to achieve that. What's the point anyway? I'm not really that successful. I know I'm not meant to be rich. How are you going to do it? If you say to yourself, I'm destined for success, I know that I'm going to be able to make 10K a month. I know that actually it's going to go up to 20K, but I'm starting small. Automatically, you're aligning your behavior to mold your actions. You need to make sure that your identity is aligned with who you want to be. So for example, he gives an example around people smoking. If you offer someone a cigarette and they say, no thanks, I'm okay. Or if you offer someone a cigarette and they say, no thanks, I'm not a smoker, automatically that person identifies as a non-smoking person, whilst the other person just says, no thank you, I don't want one for now. So that could mean that they could have one in the future. Now, the point is if you make something as part of your identity, you are already attached to this idea of yourself, and therefore nothing will stop you from getting in that way. And therefore you will be more disciplined to stick to that new habit. And in this case, be more disciplined. Now, whilst I've just gone on about how it's really important to act in line with who you think you are, it can be very, very difficult. And I know you're going to be watching this video and thinking, great, I've identified who I am, but I'm just scared to start. I don't want to begin. Because a lot of the time when we begin, we know that this is our shot. We know that this is our chance. And it's the exact reason why I sat on my podcast for 6 months before releasing any of them. Because I thought, if I release and I start, that means I'm going. And that means if I fail, which I might do, then everyone in the whole world is going to say to me, I told you so. If I start something and I don't make it 100% and it's not the best in the whole world and my channel doesn't take off from the moment I begin, I failed. And therefore, if I delay starting, I'm delaying that failure process. Does that make sense? I heard someone say to me the other day, when my daughter goes to university, that's when I've said I'm going to begin 100% of my time, full time in my business, because I've been doing it part time. I haven't been focused on growing it because my priority has been my child. Now that she's going to university, I'm petrified and I can't tell you why. And I said, the reason why you're scared is because it's your time. This is the time you set yourself that you're going to put 100% of your effort into your business, and of course you are scared, and therefore you're feeling that you don't want to begin, and that makes you feel that you're undisciplined, you're lazy, you're unfocused. It makes you feel that you are not worthy of this idea because you don't want it. The truth is you do want it. It's just the fear and that voice inside your head that's stopping you. So my number one thing here to do is start small. When you're doing something new, when you're doing something unusual, it is uncomfortable. It is scary. You do not want to do it. And in order to be disciplined to achieve your goal, you just need to start. Now, what I'm not saying is you take a giant leap and do something and then feel overwhelmed and then stop. The important thing to do is to break your goals down and set them to be really, really, really small. So I'm going to give you another example of if you want to go to the gym and you want to lose weight, setting yourself up to do an hour workout 3 times a week is not the best way to go, in my opinion. I think that you should set yourself a smaller target. If you're not going to the gym at all, set yourself a target of going for 20 minutes twice a week, or half an hour twice a week, whatever you think you can do for your body. Then slowly build that up to 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Find the time 5 times a week, whenever you want to go. And if 3 times a week works for you, great. I only work out 4 times a week. And that is the maximum I will push my body. And on some of those days, I'll do a 20-minute workout. On some of those days, I'll do a 45-minute class. It really does depend on the week in terms of where I want to go. But I know that every day I want to walk for half an hour. And you know the way I do that is I walk 15 minutes to go and get my coffee, and I walk 15 minutes back. It's that simple. So for me, I make sure that I set my life up to make it easy for me. And that is the next thing I want to talk to you about, is that you need to make it easy for yourself to be disciplined in the first place. Before you set a habit and before it comes naturally to you, you need to make it easy for yourself. No one tells you have to go for a shower every morning. And I hope no one tells you that you have to brush your teeth every single morning, because it's a habit that is instilled in you. And you need to do the same for when you're creating a new habit. So one of the things that will help you create a new habit is the performance planner. And this is something that I created on the back of coaching. But the reason why I want to talk to you about the performance planner is because it's helped me more than you know in terms of making sure that I'm consistent, I'm disciplined, and I'm keeping track of my goals. So the performance planner is a 3-month undated planner, which allows you to set your big picture goals, break them down per month, by week, and then by day. Now, the best thing about having a planner is that it's on my desk the second I wake up. So the second I wake up, I fill out my gratitude, I fill out my affirmations, I complete my habit tracker, and then I move on to see what I've got to do for the day. Now, I always plan my day the day before. So in the morning, I can just really quickly identify what are my top priorities, what are my quick wins, and I can get on and do something the second I wake up. Throughout the day, I'm making sure I'm ticking something off every single hour. And that gives me a dopamine hit because I'm constantly ticking something off, making sure that I've hit my goals and the things that I wanted to do. So another thing that is really great about having a paper version is that it keeps me disciplined because I do not want to leave any empty pages. I'm not even that much of an aesthetic person, but to open my planner and to see that I've missed a day would freak me out. And so it really keeps me in check of making sure I fill out my gratitude, my affirmations, my habit tracker, my to-do list, my top priorities. And the best thing about this planner is I reflect in it every single day and I ask myself, what am I proud of today? What did I do well? What did I enjoy? And what could be better tomorrow? So I'm constantly focusing on my strengths. I'm constantly figuring out what I love, and I'm constantly improving because I'm always asking myself, what could be better tomorrow? So even if you don't buy this planner, ask yourself these 3 questions. And I assure you, by asking yourself these 3 questions, it will help you to develop more self-awareness around what you love. And most likely, when you focus on what you love, you're going to be more disciplined to achieve it. Now, some of you may agree with this and some of you may not, but I'm not somebody who enjoys tough love. Now, one of the things that scares me in life is thinking that I will wake up one day and have a lot of regrets. And I've watched so many motivational videos on this. I've watched so many podcasts telling me that regrets are the worst things that you can live with. And so I think I've almost scared myself into believing that if I don't take the risk and act on what I really want to do right now, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So another method that can be really helpful is thinking about your life if you didn't do the things that you wanted to do. So I presume if you're watching this video, you're wanting to be disciplined because you do want to achieve something, right? There is something that you want to do right now. There is a dream that you have. So now think about if that dream doesn't come true. So how I asked you to imagine your dream life, think about the opposite and ask yourself, do you want to be there? And one of the things that I've actually found is about thinking about that. It has motivated me. It has kept me disciplined every single day. Even on the days when I'm struggling the most, it has kept me disciplined to keep on going. In order for us to achieve what we want, we need to take the relevant steps in order to achieve them. You can manifest and think about your dream life and sit here and watch this video and think, it's going to happen for me. But I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen for you unless you put the work in. So my number 1 tip from this video is imagine your dream life. Know that you can take the action to achieve it and know that you are in control of achieving whatever you put your mind to. And this is the last thing I want to share in this video. And it's something that so many of us forget, and it's to reward yourself. One of the things that I was doing last year was just keeping on this hamster wheel, and I was pushing out content, doing so much, and I was never rewarding myself. In the last month, I realized that I was feeling so overwhelmed, so exhausted, and so burnt out. And that was because I was pushing myself to work till 11 o'clock at night, and I wasn't actually being that productive. So now I've set myself a target. At first, I tried 7:30, and I realized that wasn't doable and achievable for me. So now at 9 o'clock every evening, I make sure that I completely stop working. And guess what I do? I watch TV. Now, a mistake I also made was to start series that I know that are brand new, and I got addicted and one night even stayed awake till 1 a.m. watching something. So now I don't allow myself to watch new series. I watch something that I've watched before because I then can go to sleep because I'm not stimulated by this. I've seen it over again. I know what's going to happen. I'm not worried or anxious. But I'm also rewarding myself every evening by watching TV and completely escaping. Not every hour of your day has to be highly, highly productive. And before I used to want to make sure that every single minute wasn't lost. But that wasn't keeping me disciplined. That was making sure I was burnt out. It was making sure that I was actually unproductive. And I was feeling more exhausted than ever, which impacted my performance and my productivity. So to summarize, discipline is hard. It's difficult to keep going, but I assure you that if you set yourself a clear goal, you break it down effectively, and you use a template like the performance planner or any other template that works for you to make sure you make it easy for yourself. You make sure it's clear for you. You have timeframes in place, and you're doing a little bit every single day to achieve your goal. I promise you, you're going to see some results, and that's going to keep you even more disciplined. In the times where you can't see results, make sure you're rewarding yourself. Make sure you're proud of yourself, of that small achievement, of taking that action to achieve your dream life. You are in control of your own destiny, and I truly believe that if you put your mind to it, you can achieve whatever you want. If you're struggling with your goals, I also run a goal setting workshop, which I will be doing in person for the first time this year in November or December. And if you want to know how you can join me and meet me and loads of other like-minded individuals to help you achieve your goals, I'll leave the link below where you can sign up and you'll be the first to know when I release the tickets for the workshop. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you could press the like or subscribe button and comment below to tell me what you loved about this video. And I really hope this video has helped you to see how you can be more disciplined so I can support you in achieving your goals. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you very soon.